A breakout performer on Saturday Night Live, Alex Moffat is making his Broadway debut in the new comedy, The Cottage. We sat down during rehearsals. Alex, welcome to Broadway.
Thank you.
What are you doing here?
That doesn't sound very welcoming. Welcome followed by, what are you doing here?
You know, like when I got the cast list for The Cottage, I thought, look at all these beloved theater people and this guy who I think is fantastic on Saturday Night Live. I was really excited about it.
Thank you.
But it's exciting when, you know, you get a new name in the mix.
I'm happy to be that new name. I've been looking forward to this like for a really long time.
Yeah.
So it's super exciting for me too.
Is this actually a childhood dream to get to step on a Broadway stage?
Yeah. We had some soundtracks that would play in the kitchen growing up. Phantom, Rent.
Okay.
It's kind of where it ends, but
Classics.
my classics. And so yeah, I've always been a big theater fan, and this is really cool.
So The Cottage is a cool proposition. It's a new comedy.
Yeah.
We don't always get a title where we don't really know walking in what it is, and that's exciting.
I think they're keeping it intentionally a little bit vague and a lot of the plot points under wraps. It's a new comedy. There are tons of twists and turns. And also, for all of its hilarity, can I say that? It has a very strong feminist undercurrent, which is another thing that drew me to it. I was like, oh, this is really funny. Oh, I see her point. So it's a really good play.
I actually, when I see a name like you attached, I think, oh, it must really be funny. You know, we kind of look to the Saturday Night Live cast as experts, I think, in like the comedic tastes of
We have a
what.
PhD in it.
Yeah, sure, you got a PhD.
I thought it was funny on the page, and also, so yes, there's a lot of comedy on the page, and then now that we're putting it up on its feet, it's even more coming to life, and like all the moments are really just starting to hum. It's great, and also being directed by Jason Alexander.
Right.
Get out of town. That's a once in a lifetime opportunity.
It's Saturday Night Live!
So when you were at Saturday Night Live, every week you would sort of work on comedy scripts, right? See what works, see what doesn't, see what makes the show, see what makes them laugh. When you're working on a Broadway script, it's kind of like all this time put into making this one thing work. It's a very different task.
Oh yeah. Already today, we've rehearsed this play, we've rehearsed this play more than we ever rehearsed like a cold open. For example, the first thing that people see in this live television program that sometimes, especially in the last couple of years that I was on the show, we would get that script at like 4 p.m. on Saturday, and then we'd be like, okay, are we gonna have time to put this on its feet once? No? All right, we're just gonna read the cards. No, we would usually have at least one try to figure it out in rehearsal, but yeah, this is a different process. It's a learning process for me too, and it's been a ton of fun.
When you're famous for something like Saturday Night Live,
Go on.
And you're no longer on the show,
Correct.
what's it been like, first of all, leaving the show and sort of looking at your career post-show?
It's certainly an adjustment, you know what I mean? Leaving that weekly adrenaline rush, but I'm having a good time, I gotta say. I have nothing but, great memories. I wouldn't say nothing, but it was, I'm so thankful I got to do that show. It was like the only job I ever really wanted. And then now I get to hang out I got a toddler who I get to see a lot of. I get to do something like this, so it's great. It's great both ways.
Even in the nice summertime,
Yeah.
you don't long to do like Guy who just bought a boat. I mean, it's kind of like his prime.
I know. I'm always longing to do Guy Who Just Bought a Boat.
Yeah.
There are a few characters, of course. Like I gotta save up a little bit more money, and then I'm gonna buy a boat myself, and then maybe I won't miss them as much.
The fun thing about the internet is you can find people's old resumes.
Oh God.
Which is great. And so you actually had a theater section on a resume.
I was in a play called Santa Claus versus the Nazis.
Yeah, so in that one, you were Chameleon the Elf, correct?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, that sounds right. This is a big dramatic role. So you have theater
Oh my
credits.
God, a real showstopper as Chameleon the Elf.
Yeah.
Santa Claus versus the Nazis, I think, was a comedy sports production in Chicago. It was with this group that was like known for being the filthiest group in Chicago, and they would write a new Christmas musical every year. And so a little song and dance and about 100 F-bombs, and we had a midnight crowd that would just double over. It was great.
That's awesome. So it's not Broadway. It's different than what we're doing here.
I was also, did I put co-ed prison sluts on there?
Co-ed prison sluts. You said you were the understudy for Hamster Man.
Yeah, not the real Hamster Man, but I did understudy Hamster Man.
So were you just like in the wings in full costume, ready to go on at any point?
I wish that would have been cool. No, just one time they had me. It was like it was sort of like a rite of passage if you were like, you know, involved at the theater, the Annoyance, which is my favorite theater in Chicago. If you were, you know, like doing stuff there, they might kind of come and anoint you an understudy for this show, which was like the longest running show in Chicago. And so it was a huge honor to get to understudy Hamster Man, truly. And then the owner of the theater, who is like kind of a mentor of mine and a guy who owns the theater, I was like, there's so much dialogue, there's so much singing, and I was like only about to do like 2 performances of it, and had learned the entire thing and was like kind of pacing backstage, and the guy Mick Napier came backstage and he just very sardonically goes, "Hey, guess what? You're gonna up a ton." And I was like, "Oh, great, thanks." He goes, "But also, who gives a?" I was like, that was so freeing. Thank you, Mick.
It's fun to think about that kid, right? And how like you put all that energy into like
totally
just getting to do something.
100%. I mean, in Chicago, like my MO was just like, oh, you'll let me get on stage in any way, shape, or form? Great, I'll be there. What do you want me to do? Play this role, do some stand-up, do some improv, just try to tap dance for 10 minutes? Great, I'll take it. So I was a stage time, I craved it, I needed it.
And all the skills all come together to lead to the Cottage.
Don't they though?
Right? Everything, it all.
I mean, we'll see. That's the big if, right? Hopefully they do.